Hey coaches, Coach Michael Fields here. I just want to go through a practice plan and kind of how we do it at our school. There's a high school level practice plan, and our practice plan really starts on Sunday nights. We meet as a staff, the top two, three, four of us, head coach, OC, DC, JV. We get together and we start watching film from our previous game, kind of figure out what we want to work on that week from our fundamental point of view, and then we move into opponent scout film and kind of start to line out their fronts. So that way at Monday's practice, we can start, lining up our offense against their defensive front, start putting in whatever kind of additional things we want defensively to stop their offense. So our practice plan, really, we build it from scratch almost every week. I'm going to share my screen here. There we go. Share screen right here. All right. So here we got this is what a finished practice plan would look like. So this is one from this past fall. And with this, you can see we start at 3:30, school gets out at 3:10. We give the guys 20 minutes. And this is a 2.5 hour practice plan. As the season goes on, we shorten this to where we're probably down to about a 2 hour practice. We're getting done about 5:15, 5:30. And then, of course, on walkthrough nights on Thursdays, a little shorter. On Mondays, as the season goes on and JV's gone, it'll be a little shorter. So we start out, we're just going to put in the date. That way we can keep a record of what we did. So if this were a practice for today, we put it there. I'm going to put in what we're in, if we're in shells, if we're in full gear, if we're in shorts, we'll put that there, lids, whatever it might be. Right. Then this is just the stations. So we typically start out, we allow about 10 minutes for a warm-up period. As the season goes, that, becomes shorter and shorter as the guys know the warm-up routine. They know how to get loose. They know how to get their bodies ready. So it'll probably become 5 minutes over time. Then we move into individual special teams period. It is about 10 minutes as the season starts, and as the season progresses as well. Once your punter's kicked it 1,000 times, he doesn't need to punt for 10 minutes anymore. Long snappers, holders, returners are all gonna be working there. Our kickoff guy is gonna be kicking off the tee to some returners. Punters are gonna catch the snap from our snappers and kick it to our punt return guys. Guys that don't have an individual special teams, especially linemen, they'll kind of use that as a hip mobility session. They'll kind of do some stretching. They'll do some walkthrough blocking, and just kind of use that as a little extra time of NDO. And then guys who are not returners, kickers, linemen that are on, say, kickoff or punt, particularly kickoff guys, we'll have them running a kickoff drill, where they're coming down and breaking through, somebody with a shield. So we have some kickoff drills that we'll do. If we have enough of the punting team, the line, which are typically kind of, guards, tight ends, bigger receiver type guys that can block and then fly down the field, pretty quick guys, not your typical offensive lineman, but a little bit faster, some linebacker type guys, DNs maybe. They'll work on punt, release, kind of the get the countdown essentially, and that's off to the side with the line coach, because we have one practice field that we use, so one, not even quite a full football field. It's about a 90-yard field, so we're kind of spread out with kickoff in one spot, punting across the field in another spot, and then the line in another spot. All right, so once we get done there, we're going to go group O, and we flip-flop O and D. We're a smaller school. We have about 40 guys, counting JV most years, 50 altogether, and then, a few dwindle out. So we will, our guys have to play both sides of the football. It's Iron Man, so 8 or 9 guys usually are starting on both sides of the ball. We try to keep guys to one side of the ball if we can, especially our, running backs and quarterbacks, and maybe a linebacker or somebody that's kind of critical. We want to keep them fresh. We will try to keep them on one side of the ball, but almost everybody, we don't platoon. We're an Iron Man team. So we have to practice offense and defense every day. And of course, can't forget the third phase and have some special teams in there. So Group O, beginning of the year, we're going to have an Indy period, so we can work on fundamentals. And then when we go group, we typically take our linemen and tight ends, go with the linemen, work on footwork during this first 5 minutes or so of Group O. Then we bring, maybe the tight ends come over with the skills guys, and we work on our passing game. Just kind of depends on the week and what we're planning, right? So we might have, we might work pass block with our O-line and passing game on air, right? That might be our first 5 or 10 minutes. And spell things right here. There we go, passing game on air. And then, that might take, we got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes. We might be installing a new wrinkle pass play. So we might put in, install, curl, Ron, which would be our pass play with our blocking, scheme attached to it there, right? So we're going to put in that new pass play for that week after we've run our other stuff on air, right? And then once we get through Group O, we'll come to Team O, and in Team O, we're going to write down, what are the plays we want to make sure we're running that week. So we might have identified, this run play or this other run play. So for us, guard, G, and trap are our 2 base plays. So we're probably going to review that. We're going to work on our jet sweep. So we're going to have that just kind of listed in here when we get to Team O, that we know what we're doing, right? And that's when we get to team, we will split our JV and varsity. Some of the JV guys have to get pulled over to play scout team if we're going full, thud to live. So typically this would be like a Tuesday, maybe a Wednesday, because sometimes Tuesday JV plays on Monday. They're not, they're kind of banged up. So we're going to, give them a lighter Tuesday when they show up to the varsity practice. All right, so this we would list out all the different plays that we're reviewing or installing for the week as we game planned on that Sunday night. Special teams, we're going to go in the middle here. So we make sure that we're doing a special team every day for about 10 minutes. And so what we do is, like, Tuesday, we'll go kickoff, kick return. Wednesday, we'll go punt return. And then Thursday, we'll go through all of them, but then we'll make sure we have a 10-minute period for field goal block, so we get all 3 special teams in there. Early in the season, when we're installing this, we'll finish Team O and install punt. Then we'll finish Team D and we'll install punt return to set up our blocking schemes, our return right, left, middle, etc. So that's kind of what we'll do there. So each day of the week, we kind of have a different kick return, punt return, field goal block on our Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then Thursday, when we're doing our pregame walkthrough, we run through all the team. We skip the group and we skip the Indy. We go right to kind of team. And then we'll do about a 20 to 25-minute session. We'll go from kick to kick return. And that's the days also we'll go to punt right after offense, punt return after defense. And then, of course, we have a field that we can go up to and work our live situation, 2-minute drive and kick the field goal, run them out, all that stuff. So that's a Thursday. That's a little different than the other days. Then we always start our defensive session, and we will flip-flop. So one week we might have defense first on Tuesday and Thursday, and then on Wednesday offense would be first, and then we'll flip that because guys do lose interest in a 2.5-hour practice, so we want to make sure we have the best focus that we can, and so that's why we will flip the offense defense first in our practice plan. So we would just right after NDD we'd have our defense, and then after special teams we would go to offense if we were flipping that. So we always have tackling drills for about 10 minutes every day. So everybody tackles. We do it by position. And what we will do is we'll put in there, so maybe it's, this is early in the season, so we're still installing. So we would have our thigh and drive, and then we would also have our thigh and roll. That's our gator roll type tackle. This is all USA heads up. What I can't remember what the certifications are these days, but it's our shoulder tackling stuff. We're going to go through those progressions. We're going to add in our different techniques. We've got the donut, the tackling wheels. We've got the Vizio balls. We're going to kind of mix it up. And in season, Tuesday's a little harder, probably the hardest hitting day of practice and live kind of tackling. Wednesdays, we dial it down a little bit. And then, of course, on Thursdays, walk through, we're probably lids and shorts. We will on Mondays typically have just kind of pre-planned. Our JV's gone, so we've only got our 25 or so varsity guys. It's more of install stuff, walk through what we see on film, the fronts, how we think we're going to block, and then we tweak that all week long. And so the tackling would be pretty light on Monday, pretty light on Thursday. Then NDD, this is when we're going to have, linebackers going to be working on read steps, shed, defeating blocks. Linemen are going to be working on hoop drills and pass rush, different things like that. And our DB is going to be working on their, back pedals and hip flips and breaking on the ball. Group D, we either go sevens here, so where our linebackers go join our DBs and work on pass protection or pass defense, and the linemen stay and work individual, or we'll take the linebackers over with the defensive linemen and work inside run, and then the DBs will stay on their own and work on some stuff there. Sometimes we'll bring strong safeties with the inside run, depending on our defensive thing. We're a 4-3 team, so we do roll him in the box occasionally. Then Team D, and we would list it out, whatever we're working on that week. So work pass rush moves on our D linemen, whatever it is, hoop drills, whatever we know that day. If we're focusing on pass defense, focusing on run defense, we'll do that, and then when we get to group, this is inside run, and we know we're going to see a lot of GT counter that week. We're going to put that in there so that way we know what we're working on in inside run, right? And then Team D, we're just going to, review base, cover 3, and, blitz package, right? Blitz package. So that's how we're going to put that in there for team. And then we're going to condition at the end of practice. If we go hard, we don't have to do a lot of conditioning, but we are going to run a little bit. We tell our guys conditioning is not punishment. We have to be in shape to play the game of football. So we're going to, we're going to run a little bit. We're going to run them a ton because we're going to do our drills hard, so we don't have to do a lot of conditioning. It's a 5-minute period, usually a couple of, sprints across the field, time them. Linemen should be running a certain time, and our backs and guys should be running a certain time. So that's kind of a sample practice plan. Obviously, we would fill in more specific stuff in all this area right here, but it's just kind of a general idea. And then the day of practice, our DC is going to get in at his specific defense that he wants to work on that day. And then down at the bottom, we typically have a little announcement section, remind them, hey, homecoming week theme, this day is the theme of, school colors or whatever fundraising efforts might be going on still. We put that down in announcements down there as well. And then we'll even put a little note of what equipment we need. We need agility bags, we need the shields, we need the hoops, we need the, whatever it might be, we need that day. So kind of a general practice plan. Hopefully it'll help you guys out if you're not sure how to do it. And we do everything 5-minute increments. So it's either a 5-minute, 10-minute, 15, 20, up to 30 minutes, depending on which part of practice we're in. So that's it. Thanks for watching.